Good morning. And welcome to our live crafting session this morning. It is Monday morning, the 13th of May 2024. Thank you so much for joining me. I trust that everybody had a nice weekend. It was a beautiful weekend here in the UK, and a little bit cooler and perhaps more pleasant today, and more likely to get some work done today than I was at the weekend. So good morning and welcome. My name's Jenny McCormack. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that's here in the UK. We have a brand new stamp set this week, and as you can see, it's called Fields in Bloom. It's a very straightforward stamp set. There's only 6 stamps. We have this base that has the greenery, and then we have this top layer that has all of the flowers. We have some clouds, we have a little bird, and then we have some more flowers and greenery that you can use independent of the larger stamp. The stamp set is much bigger than you can see on the front cover, and that's because they have to allow space for the barcode and the branding across the top. Good morning, Teresa. I hope you are well. Oh, got a horrible reflection there. See if I can take that out a bit. So, as I say, the stamps are much bigger than they look on the front of the case, and it's very simple 2-step stamping. And although it looks quite tricky to line up, the areas of white that you see here, which is where the flowers fill in, are actually larger than the flowers. So it does give you a good opportunity to line them up without, being slightly off. So this is going to be our coffee and card design for this week. And I'm just going to do this today in Pretty in Pink. This is one of our new in colours, and for those of you who don't know me, pinks and yellow are my favourite colours, and I just thought this would look really pretty in pink, of course. So you don't need a stamping platform to use this, but for coffee and card I will, because it saves a lot of time. Because I can set the platform up and then just pass the platform round. But you can easily use this set without a platform, but I am going to use that for purposes today. Most of my customers already have either the Stamparatus that we used to sell, or an equivalent stamping platform. So this is the Pretty in Pink colour. So I'm just using some plain card, but of course we do have the coordinating layers of designer paper. So we've got this one with the florals, we've got those lovely stripes, oh, and that's the same one, and then there's another one with little circles and tiny little flowers on it. Let me see if I've got one here. Oh yes, we've got that one there. So tiny little circles, and then a little floral, almost art deco design. Okay, so I'm simply going to stamp the greenery in Old Olive and stamp the layer on top in Pretty in Pink. And I would definitely recommend doing the greenery first, especially if you're stamping it yourself without a platform. Let me get these two ready. So they're quite large. This is the size of a standard card, and they will actually reach the edge of the whole card. So you could stamp straight onto the card if you wanted to, without having any extra layers. I'm going to use my base card and then a layer of Pretty in Pink. This measures 10 centimeters across by 14.35 centimeters high, and then I have a basic white layer that I'm stamping onto, and this measures 9.5 centimeters by 13.5 185. So I'm just going to be using this piece. I've got my platform ready, and what I'm going to do first is actually position my card on here, because my card is going to stay here and I'm going to switch the platforms around. So it doesn't really matter where you position it. I like to position it slightly away from the hinges if I can, because it means I don't have to put so much pressure, and I am using our foam mat on the top. So because I know this is just going to go across the bottom, I'm just going to use a little bit of tape. I've just got some post-it tape here, rather well used. I'm just going to use this at the top. You could also obviously use a magnet, if I can see a magnet to hand. Oh, there's one. So I hope everybody had a nice weekend. So you could just use a magnet. And I think that'll do, that'll be fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is position my grass first, and it's going to come off the bottom of here. I don't want a gap around the edge. Let me move that out of the way of the light. So just making sure that that's nice and straight, and I'm going to position this actually along this line on the bottom. Now if I was doing a lot of these and I wanted to replicate this, then I would put a little marker or a piece of washi tape where my card needs to go. So let's do that, and then I know it will be all ready for coffee and cards starting tomorrow. So what I tend to do is put a piece of washi tape in a cross formation. Just turn this round like that. Now this, I think there's so many things you could do with this. Although it is a very straightforward stamp to use, I'm thinking you could do an easy spotlight technique where you stamp it and then die cut an element out of that and raise it up. Obviously you could use this and layer it up. I'm going to give that a go. So you could have one colour here and then fields behind of a different colour, for example. Okay, that will do for now. Too much talking, Jenny. Right, let's grab the plate. I'll just use this one to the left hand side. So position that where I want it, like so. Push my plate down. If you're just using a stamp on a block, obviously you don't need to do this element of it at all. Okay, it's quite a sticky big stamp. Let's reposition that then. Okay, and what you want to make sure obviously is that you don't impinge the area that you're going to stamp. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to use Old Olive for this. Just think that's a nice combination, but you could use any green that you've got. Granny apple green would work. Whatever you like. So it's just so delicate and pretty, and it reminds me, if you remember, the tulip papers that we had that had layers of tulips going back. I've got my camera a little bit too low. Okay, so I'm just going to position this on here and press down. It's a photopolymer stamp, and there's not a huge, there's a lot of detail but not large areas of ink, so you don't have to press down too hard. Okay, just going to move that out of the way of the camera as I open it up. So let me lift that up. So that's that base element there. And I'm going to leave that one on there and then just switch to the second stamp, and I'm going to position this in here. Let's get it the right way round. So it's quite easy to see where these flowers fit in. Just take a moment or two to position it correctly, but what I do like about it is that, as I said here, I don't know if you can see from my sample one, there is areas of space around each flower, so you've got the ability for a little bit of movement without it looking like you've misplaced it, if that makes any sense. So I'm just having a look at that. I think that will be fine, and then you get that lovely effect of the hills going off into the distance. So just bring this down out of the way of the camera. There we go. Same technique, just pick up that stamp on there. It might move a little bit, because it's quite a big stamp. So I'm just going to reposition this. And what I would do normally is I would have maybe a piece of grid paper or something, or just make sure this is getting wiped down between each one, because the stamp is bigger than the piece of card that I'm using. Alternatively, you could use a large piece of card and then trim it down. So positioning that against my little gap there, let's put that on. And now I've got my flowers, and I'm just going to use, as I said, that really delicate Pretty in Pink, which is a returning in colour. Apologies for the reflection though. Okay, so this is the Pretty in Pink. Just going to place that on there, like so. Come out of the way of the camera, and then position that on top. Now, if you have sponge daubers, there'd be nothing to stop you daubing up different areas of this. Let me just move that out of the way so you can see. Daubing up different areas of this to get different coloured flowers. Let me bring that up, sorry. So you could have these sort of more daisy shaped ones in one colour, you could have these in another. You could also use Stampin' Up markers to do that and get the same effect. But it's just so delicate and pretty. The other thing you could also do is mask off an area. So if you wanted these flowers here to be darker, and I'll just give this a little go, is you could mask off an area or just use your ink pad on this bottom area here and re-ink it and re-stamp it. So I just applied ink again to the bottom part, but I think this will look lovely in different colours for the different flowers. There we go. So you get the effect of it being darker closer to you and then lighter as it goes into the distance. Okay, let's lift that off there. It really does make a stunning card, and I think this would be great to make a selection of cards. You could change all of the colours and then just add lots of different sentiments to it. And later, let me just wipe that down before I put ink anywhere else. Okay, so this is going to go onto here, but I am going to add some background clouds so that you can see the effect. So pretty. My camera's definitely at a weird angle. Sorry about that. Make sure I put that a little bit higher so you can see it. So in the set we have some clouds, some individual flowers and a bird. And so I'm going to use the clouds here up in the distance, and just one thing to note is it's got the darker area of cloud underneath, or if you find it easier the single cloud on the left as opposed to the right, otherwise it'll be a sort of upside down cloud. You could stamp this in a pale grey, so smoky slate, basic beige. I'm just going to use a little bit of balmy blue, and then I'm going to use balmy blue around the edge as well. Okay, now I haven't used this, so let me have a little, I'm going to have a practice on my practice piece. See what it looks like as to how many I need to have and whether I need to stamp it off. Okay, so to me, because this is quite a new balmy blue ink pad, that's, oh, dropped it down there, that's quite dark, so I'm going to stamp it off on my one so I get a lighter version. So I'm going to stamp it once and then add it. Yeah, that's much nicer. Okay, so a relatively tidy piece of paper to put underneath, because I'm going to go off the edges here. So with the single cloud to the left, just going to add that. So the shadow element is underneath. Like so. Just so pretty. There we go. And you could add some flying birds if you wanted to. I'm going to put my sentiment across there, and I think I'm going to use one of the new online exclusives called Simply Said. It's just got some nice combinations of capitals, so fairly formal and then relaxed, and I think just a note would look quite nice in there. Before I do that, I'm just going to use a blending brush. There it is, looking everywhere for it. It was right next to me. Okay, so this is my blue, as you can see, and I'm just going to do a little bit of blending underneath the cloud to bring that in together. Put this one back on now. And here. You could mask off the cloud if you wanted to, but it's quite a sort of soft cloud, if you know what I mean. So I'm just adding this in here. Like that. So now I'm not sure how much of that sky you can see. As always, to me it looks darker than it does on the screen. There we go. So I'm just going to add my just a note onto there, and I think that would fit in there quite nicely. And obviously we have the matching and coordinating ribbon as well as the card and the papers. What colour am I going to do that? I think I'm going to do it in the pink. And then that will have, I'll have my 3 sets of pink. So I'll have pink, pink and pink. Okay, let's just make sure this is clean to start with. And I've left a little bit of area there clearer of my blue sky. I've definitely not that, haven't I? I'm so sorry. I guess a little bit better. Okay. Like so. There we are. Just a note. That's going to get layered onto there, just with a little bit of whatever I have to hand. I have reordered my seal refills, completely run out, but they're on their way. Like so. And so you could wrap the ribbon around there, but I really want to show off the stamp at that point. It's going to go on top. A little layer of glue, and then I think I will stamp that cute little flower and greenery on the inside just to finish that off. Be a lovely card for somebody that's, you know, having a tough time, isn't it? So let us grab this one here. So this is the greenery. So this is another set of two-step stamps. Greenery and the flowers. Pop that on the inside here. Let's switch this one over. Oh, let me just turn that. Oh, it stopped. Obviously a cold call. There's a surprise. Okay, so this is just to finish it off on the inside. The stamp the foliage. Followed by the flowers, and I will do the same on the envelope as well. Okay, so again, just take your time. I've got to work out where it goes now. So I'm looking for the gaps. There we go. There we have it. And that pretty little flower on the inside of the card. And there we are. Just put a smudge across the front. Hey ho, I'll add a bit more cloud colour. But there we go. Really sweet, very quick card. It's cute, isn't it, Caroline? That's right up your street, those little flowers, isn't it? So yes, a very quick design. As I say, there's lots you could do with it, because I reckon you could mask this off and have another set of flowers going into the distance. So I will give that a go, and I'll probably show that on Thursday evening. In the meantime, I do have a new kit to share with you, so I will be using that in the week and showing that to you on a live, probably tomorrow, Tuesday. And also our Class in a Box projects are all finalised, and booking for that is now open, and you can take that as a class in a box, or you can take that in our Brackley location, Evenly, or in Buckingham. So thank you very much. That is a very effective but very simple design using Fields in Bloom. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Let me turn that one off. Better. And I look forward to crafting with you again later in the week. Thank you so much, and bye for now.